to Give Me a Song. I'm Jeff Phipps. I'm your host. What we do here is I ask friends of mine to come on the show, and I give them, they give me a song, and then in return I give them a song. And so today I have one of my good friends. If you could introduce yourself and tell me what you do, that would be great.
My name is Sibala, and I am a comedian.
You are a comedian. What would you say your biggest accomplishment thus far as comedian has been?
I think the thing I'm most proud of is the special that I just released.
Okay. And what is the name of the special?
It's Vanilla Pinot. We just decided to put it on YouTube. It's by 4x3 Records.
Okay.
But it's also, like, we made an album out of it.
Yeah.
Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, all the streaming audio services.
Yeah. So you sold it to them, or are they licensing it from you?
Licensing it.
Okay, so you get to retain that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we were talking to Max last episode, and he, did a similar thing, although he put his on Amazon,
Right,
as a special.
I had that option.
Yeah, and so how's the success been? How's the reaction been so far?
The people that have seen it have liked it.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that, like, it's not like I'm a big name, so it's not like people are seeking it out.
Yeah.
And I like 4x3. Like, I like their platform. Like, we've had it out for a little over a week, and it's had about 4,000 views, which is, that's not a huge number.
It's not trivial either,
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, I had an opportunity to put some of this stuff on tape. I wanted to move on, do some other material anyway.
Yeah.
So the special goes about 38 minutes, and now I don't have to retire it because not enough people have seen it. You know what I mean? That it's gonna, like, there'll be times where I'm out on the road and it's still like, the material is still brand new for somebody. But it is also nice to just have that one done, and now I'm working on the next stuff. So.
And how's that process coming for you?
It's been good. I'm already back up to another 30 minutes. So it's a feature set. If I have to, like, whenever I get booked a headline, I'll tap into stuff that's from the special. Or a lot of times there's stuff that organically happens. I'm not a huge crowd work guy, but I'm certainly not opposed to it. I don't lean on it.
Yeah.
But whenever there's, like, organic crowd work happening, that makes doing time wait. There's, like, the challenge really becomes, are you going to get off it? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Crowd work I can give or take personally. It's one of those things. It's like I think some people just really want to, like, say the first thing that comes to their mind on stage, which I'm not the biggest fan of, because I have a responsible job. So
yeah.
I don't need people going back and saying, oh, well, not that I don't have, like, the thing I know about myself, and I'm sure you do as well, is, like, what to say and what not to say. I'm old enough where it's like,
yeah, we
grew up in a time before the internet and stuff like that, so if you said something crazy, somebody would probably want to fight you.
Yeah.
Whereas now, it's like that filter's gone on a lot of people, and so you get these comics who just go on stage and say crazy stuff, and it's like, yeah, I see why comics want to do that, but I just really, it doesn't appeal to me.
Yeah, and then I don't know. I think what I've noticed more is that with, like, somebody like Matt Wright warming up.
Yeah.
And a lot of his clips are crowd work.
Yeah.
Right. But that's certainly not all. That doesn't encompass all of who he is as a comic.
Right.
And so, because he had a lot of success from that, a lot of people that are coming up want to emulate that success.
Oh, absolutely.
So then that's what they try to do, is nothing but crowd work. And a lot of them are just bad.
Right.
Ultimately, that's what it comes down to, is they haven't gotten the chops yet.
Yeah.
And so
there's a trick to it that people don't really understand. It's like, you can be good on the spur of the moment, but you're even better if you think about it in reflection, or you think of, like, there's avenues, right? Like, one of the things you told me, and you gave me good advice with that, Probably only once. Just kidding. Where you were like, okay, well, you can fork off here, here, depending on how a joke lands.
Yeah.
So, like, if a joke lands well, you can go further down that road. But if it doesn't, just get off the road and let's talk about something else. Let's change. Let's start a new joke, something along those lines.
Mm-hmm.
And for like doing crowd work and stuff like that, it's like, I think people don't realize that like you could already have an answer thought up.
Yeah.
You could already be, it's like a magic trick. It's
It
like
is.
it's like okay, I can already have a response ready for this particular thing because there's only X amount of things that crowds are going to say to you.
Right.
I do this job, I do this, or somebody's just heckling you because they're drunk. There's answers to it if you just kind of like give yourself some thought and preparation.
Yeah.
You can have a response ready. Like my nephew one time, he's like, "How are you?" He's like, "You're quick-witted." No, I don't know about that, but he's like, "Well, how did you do that?" And I was like, "Well, when I was a kid, and I didn't have something quick to say, I think later on it's like, well, the next time this happens, I'll say something along these lines."
Yeah.
And then it turned out that happens a lot more frequently than people realize.
Yep.
And then you just have something quick to say, Or if you hear somebody else say something quick who's not a comic or anything like that, it's like, well, you're never going on stage, I'll just put this in my bag, and then, so there's a lot of ways to get those responses because that's ultimately what it is. It's it's a jokey response to.
Yeah, a lot of stuff that you just have in your pocket.
Yeah.
It's another tool in the toolkit.
Sure.
But yeah, no, I'm certainly not opposed to crowd work.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's my cup of tea to sit there and watch somebody that wants to do all crowd work.
Yeah.
But everybody's kind of got their own path to walk.
No, absolutely. So let me ask you this: what do you think of the guy who's doing crowd work in an open mic?
You're wasting our fucking time. You're wasting everybody's time.
Absolutely. Just don't. Okay, here's my advice, guys. Don't do crowd work at an open mic.
Yeah.
Like a feature, if you get permission from the headliner, headliners do what you want. You're headlining. You're the top bill. Do whatever you want. Open if you're hosting, you don't need to be doing crowd work.
Even that is that kind of depends because it's going to vary culturally.
Yeah, I agree.
Like in Canada, like a lot of times a headliner will actually open up the show.
Really?
And then bring people out and then close it out as well. That's
Okay.
a totally different scenario.
Yeah, but then you're not a host at that. I mean, I guess you're technically the host, but you're also like the person that came to see. So
Right. Or like let's say it's a showcase. Like years ago, Russell Peters did it was like a showcase that he had put together, and it ended up being on Netflix. And it was essentially people he thought that more people should be paying attention to, kind of thing.
yeah,
But because he kicks off the show and he does a lot of crowd work, that's what he led with, right?
Mhm.
So I mean, it's gonna vary. If it's your show and you organized it and you open up the show, then that's fine. If you were hired by a club and you're just the MC, unless the headliner specifically asks you, you need to stick to your fucking material.
I agree.
Right?
No, I completely agree. There you go. There's my thing. And the other thing about crowd work, just to close out, and then we'll talk about your song, is the crowd work. The clips became successful, and that's the biggest problem of it all. Is that you have the audience think that they're part of the show.
Sometimes.
And because they want to go in and they want to be part of that moment. It's like, well, he's always, a lot of these guys don't record all their stuff all the time. So it's like you're sitting there just being an asshole, hoping that this guy will film you and put it online. And then he's not, I record maybe a third of what I do. I don't know how often you record, but like maybe a third.
I've been recording more now.
Yeah. Because I got a really good memory about things. And so I'm like, okay, I can play this back and then get what I need from it.
I'll always at least record on it.
Yeah,
Every set.
that makes sense.
So.
But I think the clip works. Matt Rife especially just kind of made it worse for everybody else because he put those clips out there and he became so famous and you shared it with your friends and he is quick-witted and he people give him a hard time because his Netflix special wasn't as good as it could have been, but his crowd work one was excellent.
Yeah, I mean, So I think with the Netflix thing, it's not my favorite, but I think people get a little harsh on him. Uh, we try to criticize his Netflix special was, but when you consider he had already put a special out,
Yeah.
he did a special through 800 Pound Gorilla,
Mm-hmm.
and then he blew up and got signed by Netflix, and then they wanted to rush his special out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I don't know any all the I don't like talking about other comics that are more famous because
Sure.
I think
Shut this down if you want.
I think there's a lot of comedians that do that and that are never going to be that big. So it's either coming across as petty jealousy,
Yeah.
or it's just a way for them to try to get reactions online. That feels like parasitic to me.
That makes sense.
Like, fucking do your own thing.
Yeah.
It's one of so I think with going back doing the weed, going back to the point I was making about Netflix, he had to rush that out. There's not a single one of us that wouldn't have done it.
Oh no,
We would have taken that paycheck and been like, fuck it, I'll go ahead and I'll scrap together what I'm working on and everything. I think, and I don't think he's the one that really started the crowd work. He was the first. He's the most recent one that really got big off of it. But you look at Steve Hostetter.
Yeah. I mean, going back to Don Rickles. I mean, Don
Yeah.
Rickles just came out and just roasted a crowd, and people paid extremely good money.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not like crowd works.
With clips and stuff.
Oh,
like
yeah.
that. So he would do the clickbaity stuff. The comedian destroys. And
Yeah.
What the fuck? But it's what you got to do to get your name.
Yeah.
Right. Andrew Schultz would do a lot of YouTube stuff.
He does a lot of crowd work. He'll put a lot of crowd work clips out.
Yeah.
He does have a lot of material. He burns through a lot of material too.
He does put a lot out.
Yeah. But he writes a lot too. I mean, it's always fresh. Nimesh Patel is another one that I really enjoy. His crowd work clips are usually pretty funny because his perspective's different.
Mm-hmm.
Just like our perspective's different. We're not. I don't know if you know this or not, but neither one of us are white comics. So.
White-ish.
White. Well, so am I. Actually, more white than I thought.
Yeah.
So had a DNA test. And we found all that out.
Which is why you bought this new jacket.
Which is why I bought this new jacket. Let's talk about the jacket. All right. So I asked.
Perfect for the song.
It is. That's the point. That's why I chose this. Every year they do a halfway to St. Patrick's Day event at the Cardinals. Last year it was this jacket. So. We made a big deal. It was like $20 to get the ticket and the jacket, so it was worth it. It's a nice looking jacket.
It's a good deal.
Yeah. So a friend of mine actually went to the game and she got our jackets because I was out of town. I asked people to come on and give me a song. You know why? Do you care? Do you want to know?
I watched one of your episodes. You kind of went into it, but
Yeah.
go ahead and explain. Because there was you had a friend that.
It's our friend Larry Smith.
Oh. So he told you, he gave you a suggestion for a song.
No. So close, very close. Close enough for government work. He was wearing a drive-by trucker shirt. You know what drive-by truckers are?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, perfect. I saw them in concert in front of Tom Petty. And I was like, okay. I was like, meh. Well, Larry Smith, this is his favorite band, but I told him, I was like, hey, I saw them, they were okay. And he's like, well, did you ever hear this song? We Rushed to the Touch Tunes. And he punched it in, and I was like, oh, I wish I would have heard something like that. I would have been more on board. And I was like, oh, by the way, here's something you should listen to. And I sent him a song. And then 6 months later, I was like, hey, I could do this as a podcast. And you were supposed to be the very first person on this show.
Yeah, you caught me during a very busy time.
And you just blew me off for half a year.
Well, I was fucking busy.
I'm not arguing with you. I'm just giving you a hard
I
time.
was getting married.
Yes.
Going on a honeymoon.
Yeah.
I was filming a special.
Yeah.
And I was trying to market a special.
Yeah. Yeah.
Plus, I was doing a full-time job.
Yeah.
Plus, I'm a dad. Plus, I was getting booked every weekend. I only had 3 weekend jobs since last June.
Sure.
And one of those was 4th of July weekend, so it wasn't like I was...
Could have done 4th of July.
No, I was with my kid. I couldn't...
Oh, whatever. The kid could have sat there and listened.
Father of the Year. Edit my clips for me, okay?
All right. You gave me a song.
Yep.
I wore the jacket in honor of the song. I did. This was a conscious decision. I was like, what am I going to wear today? And I was like, oh, I've got an Irish jacket. What was the song?
Oh, the song that I gave you was "Jump Around" by HouseofPain.
Jump Around by HouseofPain, the most Irish rap song in the history of rap music.
Yeah, it's like the only good rap song that band ever did.
That's it. There.
Although Everlast was a good lyricist, so, but that particular song was kind of for me, it's like a nostalgic song.
Yeah.
Right?
So first off, I want to thank you for choosing "Jump Around." I really do, because if you've been listening to the podcast, I have been getting like the heaviest of songs you've ever gotten in your entire life. People are just like laying out like, this is the song that got me. Like Ellie Kirchhoffer was on. The song she chose was like the one as her dad was dying. JC, or you mentioned Will earlier. The one he chose was like getting him through a hard time. People are just giving me these like heavy, well thought out songs, and so I have to have these extremely heavy discussions, and then I've got to give them something that's kind of like, all right, well, I can't give them like a nice lighthearted song.
Yeah,
I've got to, I got to keep pace. So it's like, here's something that meant something to me at a time I was going through something, or in Ellie's case, I thought it was a song about love, and so I gave her a song like this depressing song about love from the Smiths, and it was like, I'm just trying to keep pace. Right.
Basically every song by the Smiths.
Right, exactly. But it was my favorite depressing love song by the Smiths. So anyway, when finally you were like, yes, I can do this, and I was like, do you want to change songs? Because you had given me the song before we'd even recorded the first episode. You actually helped me figure out how I wanted this to go. So I thank you for a lot, because you were like, well, let's tape right now. We didn't have time, and it was just like a whole thing. And I was like, no, let me actually sit down and think about this. So everything's worked out well. Thank you so much, honestly. But thank you now for giving me like just a fun, God, like one of the best party songs ever written, right? Like you put on "Jump Around" in a club, in a bar, at your friend's house.
I mean, the moment that first horn hit.
Yes.
It's the,
yeah.
But and I think of all different times in my life.
Yeah.
Right. No matter what age, where like there was a night I was out partying and like I was with friends or something, and the moment that horn hits, and then like the eyes go wide and like you're looking at your buddies like, oh
yeah,
and then it's like, especially because I mean it's white hip hop, and like you're hanging around, if you're hanging around white people, it's the easiest dance. It's the easiest dance.
Is it a dance? You're just jumping.
It literally tells you what to do. Like it's like jump.
Yes.
It's such like. So I think especially right now, like because we're in election season and everything gets so heavy. Everybody wants to talk about the heavy shit all the time. And don't get me wrong, I love really poignant movies that are dramas and things like that. But sometimes I just want mindless entertainment. I just kind of want to numb out all the other problems of the world and just sit there and shut my brain off. And this song kind of is like that.
Yeah.
Right? It's in that same vein where there's no statements being made. Right? It's not about an emotion, because I certainly have songs like that are really meaning to me as far as emotional times in my life and all that. But also, I think not enough take a moment to be like, just be still. Let's just enjoy the moment. And that's sort of what that song represents for me.
Yeah. Do you remember like your first associations with it or anything? Like, does it like, was this like, this is the greatest thing since sliced bread when you heard it?
No. When I must have been in like third grade at the time, and I remember thinking like, oh, it's white guys trying to rap, and not really feeling it. And then like, over the year, like there'd be like a skate party or something. And then that would go out. I'm like, you know what? This isn't bad. Like it's like one of those things. Like maybe I was a little up my own ass like trying to be like as if my third grade mind was like this. This isn't sophisticated enough for me.
I'm sorry. At 8 years old, if you're sitting there criticizing like where this song ranks in like the echelons of hip hop, it's kind of weird that like.
Yeah.
So I am a little bit older than you. I was 18 when this song came out. So yeah, you being in third grade makes sense.
What year did this come out?
92.
Yeah, I would have been around third grade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So me and my friends and I, let's say it properly, thought this was the greatest thing since sliced bread,
Yeah.
honestly. And I hung out with a lot of different people of like a lot of diverse backgrounds, listened to nothing but hip hop at the time, and this was just a great song that just holds up extremely well. How familiar you are with the background of Everlast? Not post House of Pain, but pre House of Pain.
I'm not overly familiar with. Like, I knew that. I knew like he hung around with.
Ice-T.
Yeah, Ice-T.
Well, I'll get to that, but he put out so there was a thing called the Rhyme Syndicate. It was Ice-T's like little group. None of those people made it. But Everlast got an album out, and if you and hopefully Jada, if you can find this, his first album cover, he's in like a 3-piece suit and tie, and like it's the
like
most.
He's trying to be like third base.
Yeah, he was like like I'm the the dashing, good-looking guy of the group, who gets all the women, and that's like what his raps were.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he disappears, and he comes back as House of Pain. So now he's all tatted up, his head shaved. He's got his sidekick and his DJ, and it's just like it was a huge like one of those leaps where it's kind of like, how authentic is this?
Didn't he run with like Cypress Hill and stuff like
Well,
that?
So Cypress Hill, DJ Muggs is the producer of Cypress Hill. He's their DJ. He produced Jump Around. He produced their first album.
Okay.
So yeah, he was running around with them, but it's just kind of funny, like the disconnect between like, that was like a time where like being a poser was like a career ender.
Yeah.
Like if you got caught, like if you were gangster rapping, if you got caught gangster rapping and you weren't a gangster, like and none of them were, really, because you couldn't do one or the other. Now it's like you have these drill rappers that are like literally doing both. They're out in the streets killing people and then rapping about it.
Yeah.
But at the time you didn't have time to do that. You wouldn't do it. You were really trying to make it as a rapper. And so like you get caught and then you'd be like, oh well, I guess my career's over. And that happened to like so many rappers. But no one batted an eye. It's like, okay, you can be an Irish rap group now. It's cool. Like we're fine with it. Like whatever. The horn comes on. The next thing you hear is the yell. What do you think of that? Like, do you think that's Prince or no?
Oh no, I don't think it is. It's So that first horn hit?
Yeah.
Okay. The thing that you're thinking, yell. I'm pretty sure that's just that same horn hit pitched up.
That's what they say. A lot of people think it's from Prince. One of the Prince.
Like sexy motherfucker. Like,
yeah, but it was
just a song that, like,
yeah. Right.
I don't think it is.
Yeah, they won't say because they don't want to. They don't have to pay Prince, so they'll never admit to where it came from. So like, there's like 4 or 5 different stories of where that came from. What's your favorite line? What's your favorite verse? Like, you don't have to do the whole verse, but there's so many punchy lines in here.
There is.
Literally punchy at the start of the second verse.
Yeah. Yeah, I know when your girl stops, I'm smacking the hoe.
I'm smacking the hoe.
Like, not that I condone that behavior, but I love the fact that it like rhymes with McEnroe.
Yeah.
It's just like, what?
Every opening.
I'll serve your ass like John McEnroe.
Yes. Every opening of every verse is just great.
Yeah.
Because it's like, pack 'em up, pack 'em in, let me begin. I came to win, battle me as a sin.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And it's like, and then the second one's like, if your girl steps up.
Okay, I think my favorite line is like, I got more rhymes than there's cops at a Dunkin' Donut shop.
Yeah, showing up, I got props.
Yeah.
From the kids from the hill and my mom and my pops. Yeah, that's always a good one. I love this song. I really do. I love this song. I bought 2 out of the 3 albums. Mm-hmm. I couldn't tell you another song, another verse. If you told me it was House of Pain, I'd believe you. I couldn't tell you anything about anything they ever did. but man, I love Jump Around.
Yeah.
Did you watch the video again? Did you check it out? I asked you to kind of take a look at
Yeah, yeah. It's funny that they're trying to look so grimy.
it. They're
It's
from
like,
L.A.
yeah, or like we're gonna do this like we're in a Boston bar. Like
Yeah.
it was. It felt like, even though Boondock Saints came out later, it felt like, okay, if a white rapper wants to put a music video together and they just saw Boondock Saints, that's what it feels like.
Or more likely, it's the other way around.
Right.
That Boondock Saints was influenced by House of Pain, by the imagery of this video. Everything about this is iconic. Like you have there, I guess so I read about this for the show, and they filmed it at the New York Irish Parade. So
Yeah.
the St. Patrick's Day Parade, and I guess they hung out at some Irish bar in New York, because clearly they're not in LA. They're an LA group.
Yeah.
Like they're all from LA, they all met there, and then like all of a sudden they're in New York City, but they think they're in Boston. Because I assumed it was in Boston.
I did too.
Even if you would have told me it was Boston, I would have believed you. But not surprising that it's at the New York,
Yeah.
St. Patrick's Day Parade as well. But it's just kind of funny. It's like you talk about like I said, just a bunch of West Coasters, and now it's like we're Boston,
Yeah.
and it's like, well,
Right.
I don't care. Maybe other times, other rappers, I'd be mad.
I mean,
but-
it was during a time where Boston, I don't know if it's now, but I assume that there's still quite a bit, but like Boston felt like really racist.
I'm pretty sure
forever.
I'm pretty sure it still is. Like, I mean, I don't think that they're working that out anytime soon. It's like
Yeah.
you have like the Southeast, the Irish Southeast, and you have everybody else, and they just hate, any
Yeah.
movie you see from Boston, or even talking to people from
Yeah,
like
but
the area.
I've never been there, so
Yeah.
I don't know if that's just
Yeah.
Hollywood interpretation.
Yeah. I mean, it probably works. The
Yeah.
interpretation's probably like a
Well, I mean, like,
easy going.
you get, like, I would assume that, like, as big of sports fans as they are, a lot of professional athletes are white, so that
You would think they'd get on board, is what you implying.
you would think.
But it's like,
I don't know.
I don't either. If you're from Boston or you're Irish, if you want to comment below, let us know. Fill me in. I want to know, and then I'll let JC know. I'd appreciate it. Is Boston still
Your
based?
YouTube metrics, you get a lot of Boston watchers.
I do, actually.
Viewers from Boston.
Yeah, absolutely. 99% of them are from Boston.
Okay. Real big in Massachusetts.
So big in Massachusetts. Yeah, we're big everywhere, JC. I don't know why you haven't realized that. No, but one day somebody will come across us.
Yeah.
So, and then they'll be like, "Oh, I know an answer to this," and then
Mhm.
somebody will reach out and message me, then I'll let you know. Can't we be optimistic that somebody someday at some point will watch this and be like, "I have an answer
Yeah,
to that"?
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah. So, House of Pain put out 3 albums. They broke up. DJ Lethal, do you know where he is now? He's with Limp Bizkit.
What a fucking career. I'm just gonna leech off of white rappers. They're like, people throwing some guitars and shit on that. Fucking Fred Durst, dude.
So, Becky, we bought.
Skin your ass raw. I got a chainsaw. I'll skin your ass raw. Like, what the fuck? Like that. Like during that whole period, like new metal and rap rock and all that.
Awful.
It was like, and then, don't get me wrong. There's songs that I like. Well, there's Limp Bizkit songs that I like.
No, you're lying to yourself. Those things are terrible.
There's some I like Rearranged. I love the bass line in it.
Well, I mean, their talent, their bass player and their guitarist. Wes Borland is their guitar player, an incredible guitar player, and then their bassist is really good too. But but terrible rapper. Just absolute terrible rapper. We got these things called lawn passes this season for the Riverport. I'm gonna call it Riverport. I don't care. Hollywood Amphitheater in St. Louis.
Oh yeah, okay.
And so we could go to every show. Any show they had, we could go to all of them. It's like $250, worth every penny. And Limp Bizkit went on tour this summer, and Becky's like, "I'm going," and I was gonna go, and then at the last minute, I'm like, "I can't do this. I just don't want to go. I don't want to be part of this. I don't want to contribute to Fred Durst's bottom line, even though I'd already paid for the ticket." And she came back and she's like, "It was the worst show I've ever seen in my entire life." I was like, "Yes, it was. I could have told you that before you even showed up."
I was there when Kings of Leon.
I was there too.
Yeah.
Yeah, at that show. Yeah, I was there at that show. We were there at the same time. We had no idea. Yeah, the three. Did you go? Did you go to the makeup show when they make it?
No, I was given the ticket.
Oh,
I had taken an Adderall, and this is before I realized like I can't do Adderall and drink.
yeah. Like they tell you specifically not to do Adderall and drink, right?
Yeah, but
That's just a guideline. That's just a suggestion.
I drank a shit ton.
Uh huh.
And all my friends told me afterward I was being a total asshole. And but like somebody gave us the tickets, so I went along.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't even pay attention to the show.
Yeah.
I don't know who the openers were. Like when they got off stage and everybody's piling out, I'm like, oh, it's over already. Okay, cool. I
Right.
didn't even register with me. But what I do remember was behind us there was an older gentleman.
Hey, we had some technical difficulties here. The wind is kicking up and knocked over everything. So if the cameras have changed, it's because we had to reset them up. So we're at Kings Leon.
Yeah.
You got trashed.
So there was definitely like this older gentleman who was clearly there with an instrument, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't see how any other way it could have been me. And maybe like I can send you the picture.
You took a picture.
So okay.
And you're no wonder
Hold on. So my friends went to go get some beer and stuff.
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit. I was like, I'm gonna go with them, but I want to get a picture of these people. And then I acted like I was just on my phone looking for something. Like I was gonna try to call somebody, but I really pulled up my camera. I was like, I'm gonna sneak a picture of these people. And then my flash went off. Right in their face, and they're both looking right at me.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking I'm being slick, but in the picture they're just like, what the fuck, dude?
If you send that, we'll put it on the show. If you send that to me,
I've got to find it.
Okay, if you find it, you send it. We're gonna put that picture on the show. That's amazing.
Fucking dumbass.
That's funny. I didn't. That's surprising. A little bit and not a little bit. We've known each other for a while now.
Yeah.
Pretty much since I've been doing comedy. We became friends pretty quick, but or we're not. Who knows? But that's surprising to hear that. So I went to the concert and I wasn't feeling good. And I don't know if you remember this, or you probably don't remember this. It was like 100 degrees that day, like 101, 102.
Yeah.
Hot as hell. And I had like a frozen margarita and immediately started throwing up in the bathroom. And then they played 3 songs. Becky found Kings of Leon like early on in our relationship.
Yeah.
And it's been like a constant. We saw them every time they came to St. Louis. Every single show. They haven't been back since. And so, and we still follow them. We're like huge fans. And it's like, God damn it. You know, like, of all the bands, it's like, I guess it would have been like being a GNR fan during the riot. You know, it's like, you know, it's like, you'll never forget like the association with the town or whatever. I gave you a song. That's what I asked people to do. I give them a song so we have something else to talk about. And like I was telling Max, and I don't know if it was on there, the Max episode got cut off, so maybe it's on there, maybe it isn't. But it's kind of a way for me to like, you know, associate something with you or whatever. So what was the song I gave you?
You gave me, So What You Saying?
Yes.
And it was by EPMD.
It is by EPMD.
I watched the video,
Okay.
and what was funny is like when I think of like late '80s, early '90s,
Yeah.
like rap videos, like how corny some of them, like just any videos from that era, how corny they can be. Whereas like the song is just like a very like chill song, like just like riding in the car type of song.
Yeah.
Right. Um, but what they would try to do in the music video would be they'd have these little cutaways, right? That would be some sort of like a physical manifestation of the lyrics that are being said in the moment.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm a mic doctor. Like it shows like a microphone and then like a stethoscope being held up to it.
Yeah.
Like, and then it cuts away, and then it's back to the guy rapping. And the other one that I thought was hilarious, like, girlies all on my jock. And then there's just like this woman's hand grabbing a jock strap, just like pulling it across the screen. I'm like, what the fuck?
There's other great moments in that video.
I don't get the monks.
The monks are great.
Yeah.
And then there's a random white monk too, who looks out of place again. He puts the thing on
Yeah.
and he's bald. And then they show him again. He's still got the hook. Now he's trying to dance with them, but he's got the hook back on.
Yeah.
And he can't keep rhythm. You know, they have dancers, which I miss a lot in rap
Yeah.
music. Just like there was two girls at one point dancing, and then there's another scene where it's this one guy dancing in the background, you know,
Yeah.
while he's rapping. And it's like you kind of miss, like some of those things I miss. A lot of it I don't miss. Like, you know, the mic
Yeah.
scope. Like, or my favorite thing is they'll
I
drop.
wonder if they're in the fucking turtle lair.
Yeah, yeah, they're in
They're
the
in the
sewers.
sewer.
Yeah, they talk about dropping shells, and then they drop bullets, but they're unfired bullets. They're fully whole bullets. It's like, oh, well, we can't just drop empty shells. We don't have those. We'll just drop some bullets on the ground. It's like you could have just fired some and then dropped them, and it would, you know.
Yeah.
But people wouldn't have paid attention anyway. It's not like, you know,
Right.
there's so much imagery in that video. It's ridiculous. Had you heard the song before, though? Let's start there. Let's start with the song, and then
I don't remember it hearing it, but I like the song.
okay.
Like I said, it's like just one of those, like if I'm just listening to old school, like an old school mix or something like that.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, I don't remember listening to a lot of EPMD, to be honest.
So you're not familiar with EPMD as a group or anything? Because it's a group. It's not one guy.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's about my extent of
Sure.
my knowledge of this group.
Yeah. So I chose a song. Like, I kind of figured it was, you know, like you chose a rap song.
Mhm.
You chose a lighthearted rap song. I didn't choose like the most lighthearted rap song ever, but I chose one that like, dude, that like locked me in. Like, this is what I'm going to listen to for probably about 20 years straight. And this was one of those songs, like, when I heard it. And the video, so I was in high school when this came out. When that video came out, I didn't pay attention to, like, the imagery was like, oh, wow, how awesome is this? And then, like, you look at it later and, like, oh, how god-awful is it?
Yeah.
But some of the things that I always thought cool, and I still do, was the girls dancing while they're rapping.
Yeah.
The guy dancing in the background, you know, keeping rhythm. They're not even doing like great dancing. It's just kind of like, you know, almost like a shuffle. And they're just like, you know, they just look cool for the most part.
Yeah.
You know, they have the Kangol hats going, you know, and they're layered.
Yeah,
and
Kangol bucket hat.
the bucket hats, absolutely. Yeah, because there's a difference between a Kangol and a Kangol bucket, but they had the buckets, and they were just like cool.
Yeah.
And you know, they have a scroll during the video. They're like, some records sell better than others. And it's
Yeah.
like right in the middle of the thing is so silly, but the lyrics aren't. Like, it's
Yeah.
like really like, you know, they're not deep by any stretch of the imagination, but it's just like tough talk 80s style rap. You know, it's like you know, check the billboards, you know, and it's like people sound like the R, which is Rakim,
Mhm.
and then our music's whack. And then we drop the album Strictly Business, and 30 days later we're gold, you know.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, you got some stuff to say, you know, but it's just the EPMD created a lot of like language. I don't know if you know this or not, but like when people said they're Audi 5000, that was them, and then they said they were Ghost, and then they would say they're Swayze because people said Ghost, and they went one more, and they're Patrick Swayze now.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
they added so much lingo. Their first three records I loved to death. Okay. And then they put out a fourth record, and I wasn't on board. And then they broke up. And do you know this story or anything
I
about
don't know
it?
anything
Okay,
about
so
it.
there's two people. They actually went by. They didn't have rap names.
Hmm.
It was the EPMD stands for Eric and Parrish Making Dollars. So
Yeah.
it's Eric Simmons and then Parrish Smith. All right. And so supposedly, and I don't, this is all allegedly, um, Parrish was the smarter one of the two, but
Mhm.
Eric was the music guy. So Eric was making the beats. They were both rapping together, and then Parrish was doing the business deals.
Yeah.
You know where this is going, right?
So Parrish was getting all the money.
Parrish was getting all the money. So apparently, at some point, people broke into Parrish Smith's house and held him hostage
Hmm.
for a little bit, and was like, "This isn't right."
Some NWA shit.
Yeah, well, Suge Knight shit for sure. But yeah, kind of like one of those deals where it was like, you know, you've been fucking over Eric. How do we make this right, kind of thing? And then they disappeared. They broke up. They did separate albums. Eric became the Def Squad with
Right.
Redman and Keith Murray, which those are also great records.
Yeah.
If you get a chance, check those out. Parrish Smith didn't really do anything. Not that good by himself because he didn't have a good producer. And then they kind of got back together later on, and then put out some more records. Was never the same though. You know, it's
Yeah.
like once you break up or whatever, and then you try and get the magic back, it just, you know. And I don't think that like '90s rappers like it's hard to keep up with the times. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
because you had that simpler flow. It was like you know, you could hear everything and everything
It's all
made
boom bap.
sense.
I like
Yeah,
that's the type of hip hop that I like is boom bap.
yeah, no, absolutely.
Like, which is why, like, my favorite rap album for the longest time was Blackout by Redman and Method Man, because they were my two favorite rappers at the time.
Blackout.
Yeah, and they also like they had collaborated a lot already before that album came out. So I already loved them both individually, but I also loved all their collaborations of mine. Even when I found out that they were,
Together.
yeah,
And then they did a movie together.
yeah, that shit I could do without. Like it was like, you know,
I don't like
make your money, whatever.
I don't like the Blackout that much. I love the Rockweiler, that song.
Dude, that album, like this, like back when we had CD players.
Yeah.
That didn't leave my CD player in my car for an entire year.
Wow.
It was just unreal.
I really thought it was gonna be better than what it was. I know I'm not arguing that. I'm just saying, like, for me personally, because I was so like I loved Method Man. I loved everything he did. I loved Redman. I loved everything he did. Like I loved What the Album. I loved Muddy Waters. Like all those things leading up to their combined effort. I love the Rockweiler, the song The Rockweiler. Like I could listen to that I could listen to that one song on repeat for a year.
Yeah.
Like nothing else, because I just think that's great. And then the rest of it's kind of like, it just it wasn't. I was expecting like harder beats or something. It just
A
wasn't
lot
the
of
same.
it was just like live versions of stuff
Yeah.
they'd already done.
Right. Yeah. How High was a good song. I really liked that one. But it just was for me. It just wasn't the same. I was like, I was disappointed. You know, it was. I don't know how to describe it. I'm glad that you loved it that much,
Yeah.
but it was just like for me. I loved, like I said, I loved Eric Simmons. I loved Def Squad. Loved everything they did, and then it was just kind of like, oh man, like I had it built up too high. Like if I listen to it now, it's like, yeah, it's pretty good. I get what they were trying to do, but like at the time, it was like, I was like, oh no, it's like it's like if the 2001 wouldn't have been good, like Dr. Dre's, the second album, not
Yeah.
the Chronic. No one expected the Chronic, but like 2001 was like a masterpiece, and people were like, this is great,
Yeah.
But it had to been like if I'd have felt that way about that, that's how I felt about it. It was
Right.
like, I was like, oh man, there's like something missing. I don't know what it is, but like this should be better for who these people are and like everybody involved. You had the RZA, you got Eric, But yeah, so EPMD was kind of like it was a direct line to like that that album, and so it's weird that like, some people don't go back, some people do. Like I was talking to Max yesterday, and he's like, when he found Suicide Boys, he went to listen to everything, and so when I find something, I do the same thing.
Yeah.
It's like I would have went like so if that would have been my introduction to Redman and Method Man, then I would have went down the Wu-Tang fork,
Yeah.
and that would have that's a big fork, and then I would have went down the Redman fork and ended up on EPMD.
Almost like a family tree.
Yeah, no, absolutely, because then you have the 10 members of Wu-Tang Clan, or 9 depending on if you count Capadonna or not,
Yeah.
and then all their albums and all their solo albums and all the drama, and then the Wu-Tang affiliated albums, which would have like one member of Wu-Tang on one song, and he'd be like, you can't call this Wu-Tang, and they did anyway. Like, oh man, it was a mess. Any lines stick out to you or anything that, after listening to it? That was like,
No, I mean a lot of it just sounded like puffing up my chest.
yeah,
Like this is how awesome and badass I am. Like the typical like rap songs that
yeah,
were of that era.
right. No, absolutely. There's no.
Like, I'm a Mike Doctor. Alright.
So one did stick with you.
Or that, or like guns on my jacket. You know, like just all of that.
Yeah.
Just it sounded like stuff that what you think everybody.
Yeah, there's a line from an NWA song, and it's like, hey, Doctor, it's like, either talk about the place to be, who you are, what you got, or sucker MC. And I don't know if you remember that from Straight Outta Compton. I can't tell you what song that's off the top of my head, but it's like, but then they were just like talking about like that's it. That was at the time.
This is the formula.
This is, you can't steer from this. It's not gonna work.
Yeah.
You know.
Which isn't true
No.
because the message from Grandmaster Flash,
Right. Was completely different. Yeah.
yeah,
And then they ignored it for like 20 years. And then it wasn't until like 6 in the morning or by Ice-T, you know, or PSK by Schoolie D. I don't know if you know that song or not, but that was like, it came out like 6 months before 6 in the morning. So in terms of like gangster rap, it was like, he's a rapper from Philly, and he had like kind of like a gangster rapish kind of song.
yeah,
PSK, do you know what it means? And then 6 in the morning came out, and then rap music. I think gangster rap was,
yeah.
that was it. And then NWA and Eazy-E, and then rap music went to shit for the most part. Or not really went to shit, but it's like the things that people talked about became like less clever would be a good way to describe it.
Yeah, yeah. But then like there was kind of a renaissance afterward.
Yeah.
Like I liked when other regions started having their own sound.
Yeah.
Right. So I really liked a lot of the stuff that came out of Jacob.
Yeah.
Like stuff that was produced by the
Mhm.
or not by the
Neptune. Yeah. Which
but then all the
clips.
Timberland.
Yeah.
Like I liked a lot of that stuff.
Timberland was pretty good, and then he got like too associated with Justin Timberlake, and it kind of like
Too much pop.
too much. Yeah. He produced some really good songs for Jay-Z for a while too.
Yeah.
Like in My Lifetime Volume 3 and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But yeah, Pharrell, I mean, whatever happened to him? Like, did he ever do anything? Did he ever make anything of himself or anything? Like, Pharrell Williams, I don't really, he was from Virginia, he produced the clips, and then gone, you know? Like,
Right.
he got a Lego movie. Like, he
Yeah.
literally got a movie, like a Lego movie about his life. Pharrell Williams did.
Is that the new one that's coming out?
That's the one, it already came out. It'll be on, it's like on digital now. It didn't do well.
Okay.
But it's called Piece by Piece. But like literally, they made a documentary about his life using Legos.
I didn't know that's what it was about.
That's what it's about.
That's funny.
Yeah, that's crazy. The guy made Happy, and you know, the Daft Punk song. I can't think of the
Get Lucky?
Get Lucky. Yeah,
Well, he didn't make it. He just sang on
he helped write it.
it. Well, yeah, but like Daft Punk is its own thing.
Well, yeah, he gets credit for being a part of that.
Yeah,
It's
I
not.
would agree with that.
If you write the lyrics, and the lyrics hit, and you
True.
come up with that chorus, because you know Daft Punk doesn't. They just bring people in to do the lyrics and stuff like that.
Mm.
They just make the insane, just complicated beats.
They've been sampled so many times,
Yeah,
which for a sample-based artist,
right.
like, that was one of the best parts of Tron Legacy. There,
The soundtrack, yeah. And they even got a scene where they're in the club, you know, and it's like,
but
there
the
you go.
remix album was amazing.
Yeah, I'm a huge Daft Punk fan. So we covered EPMD. Would you listen to the song? Are you ever planning on listening to this again? I'm just out of curiosity.
I mean, yeah, but like it's not like I'm gonna like I already put it on one of my playlists.
Okay, there you go. That's the question. Did you add it to a playlist? Yeah. Good. House of Pain, we've talked about. I don't think we could cover anything more about that. Probably one of the most famous hip hop songs ever. Like
Jump
top
Around?
10. Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know if it's top 10.
Famous? I'm not talking about like.
Yeah, but I mean, if we're just doing that, then there's certainly less quality songs that had a bigger impact on culture,
Yeah.
like fucking Vanilla Ice. Like,
But is it holding? All right, so I'll give you that. But what's holding up more, Ice Ice Baby or Jump Around?
I think Jump Around holds up more.
No, but I'm saying like in terms of like I don't kids today would know Jump Around. I don't think they would know Ice Ice Baby.
I don't know.
I don't know. Does your son know Ice Ice Baby?
No, but he doesn't know Jump Around either.
Okay. Well, you should test him sometime. Just put it on and see how he reacts.
Dude, they listen to like Skibbity Toilet and shit right now.
I'm aware.
I think
But they still hear modern music.
for a while he was really big on Jump Around.
I'm sorry.
Dude, he was. It's like crack for little boys for a while.
Yeah. I'm lucky our kids are grown. It's like
Yeah.
they got out of that. They're not in like. We had a phase where we had to go see a bunch of boy bands, and then we're out of it now.
Gen Alpha's a different animal, man.
Oh, I tell you, kids are different. So I think we covered everything. Covered HouseofPain. You would not put it in top 10 most famous songs of all time. Hip hop songs of all
Maybe.
time.
I don't know.
Like 10, 11, somewhere in there.
Yeah, I mean,
Top 20 for sure.
it's sort of like one of those things that like putting a top 10 together on the spot isn't really my strength.
Because you would forget so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I like to think and analyze on it before I give the answer.
Okay, that makes sense. I got you. And then EPMD led to your Blackout album,
Yeah.
which, like I said, I love the Rockweiler. I wish I liked that album. Maybe I'll listen to it on the way home. I'll give it a good listen. And be like, no, I was right about this.
It's more of just like a little party album.
Yeah. Maybe that's what makes me mad about it. Is I expected more like the Rockweiler, just like these, here's how awesome we are at rapping, and then they were kind of more like, let's have
both
fun.
great lyricists.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's kind of what I was hoping for, and I didn't get that. So
Okay.
lyrics are a big deal for me. Lyrics and beats. Like a good beat can save a bad song, and then a good lyrics can't save a bad beat.
That's true.
So like I'll take a beat over a lyric, but then sometimes it's perfect, and then sometimes it's just, well, we tried. Good
Yeah,
luck.
I mean, there's so many rap songs that have been big because they had a great beat and like the lyrics were garbage.
Oh, that's probably 90% of rap. If you really break down lyrics,
Yeah.
it's just like, man, what are they really saying? And you're like, oh my god. And it's not girls on my jock; it's brothers on my jock. So it's even worse that they're talking about the EPMD thing. I want to.
Oh, he says that later, brother.
Yeah, but still, he's still talking about brothers on his jock. It's like,
Yeah. In a different context. He also said,
yeah, maybe. You're probably right. But yeah, but still, brothers on his jock. It's like, yeah, I get what you're trying to say.
yeah.
Out of context sounds terrible. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to look in this camera. You're going to tell us where to find you, and you're going to tell us how to find your special.
Okay. So yeah, you guys can follow me basically on any social media at JC Sibala.
Spell Sibala.
Oh yeah, Sibala. So you look up JC Sibala Vanilla Vino. There's Vanilla Vino at the end of it. You'll be able to hunt down the special if you want to check it out, or it's on Spotify, Apple Music.
It's good stuff. Very good work, man.
Pretty happy with it.
Yeah, proud of you. Yeah. And I am at Jeffrey Phipps, Jefffery, because I don't know how to spell my own name, Phipps, on Instagram. The show is everywhere. So you can find us on Spotify, you can find us on Apple Podcasts, you can find us on YouTube. If you're watching, you're obviously on YouTube, but we're at Gimme a Song, Gimme a Song, and we're on Linktree at linktr.ee/Gimme a Song, again, Gimme. I've been closing with, if you like the show, tell a friend, and if you didn't like it, keep it to yourself. But I think that's a little rude, honestly. So I'm
Keep
trying
it to yourself?
Yeah, keep it to yourself if you don't like it.
Well, if somebody doesn't like it, there's no need to go online and leave comments or anything.
But that's who does, though.
I know. I'm aware.
Those are the people who actually do. So I'm trying to transition to this, so maybe I'll stick with both, but I don't know. But tell your friends and tell your pets. And thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.
Like you're wasting everybody's time. Girlies all on my jack.
This is what I'm going to listen to for probably about 20 years straight. And held him hostage and was like, this isn't right. I'd like to.